Okay, and we're live. Hello, and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. This is the post-game podcast following a much-needed victory against the Portland Timbers. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm Vince LaRosa.
And we're waiting for Darren Miller, who's in the stadium. I'm sure rushing the field to celebrate with the team, but he'll be here soon. Vince, how you feeling after that game?
Tough. Like that was a frustrating game because, look, if they don't win that game, I can't imagine what it's like on here, and I can't imagine what of all people, I'm the one that can't get too high or too low, but I would have imploded from that game because they played really well, but then they give up both those goals, and it's like, what the hell is happening here? What is going on with this team? But thank God, Denny BOUANGA found who he was last season. And that's exactly like a Denny BOUANGA from last season goal. Like everything about it was pure Denny BOUANGA to right down to the post, finally deciding, hey, it can go the other direction sometimes too.
It really felt like the end of the chapter of Denny BOUANGA in the post. We've seen him hit the post a dozen times this season, and it has not gone his way. And finally, in the time we needed it the most, the post says, "You know what, Denny? You've proved yourself to me. The soccer gods will reward you for your suffering." Look, it's a tale of two halves. I feel like I was flying high after the first half. Like, genuinely, the vibes couldn't have been better. We looked absolutely dominant. And then just after that first goal, it just felt like doubt crept in. And even when we had the extra man, I think no one watching was like, we're going to win this. I really wanted to. I knew how much we needed to. But this team has given us nothing this season to make us believe in them. And this is the first real, outside of the Galaxy game, hard-fought win when we really needed it. And I want to say my first happy foot. Our worst start of team history. And we are 3 points out of first place in the West. We are very much looking forward to the summer transfer window because this team might be mid right now. We might be mid-table, but we're going to have some reinforcements coming in, and we might be fun come the end of the season.
Yes. And I think that they're still putting the pieces together to become a really good team. Because again, this is why it would have been so frustrating for me. Like if they draw 2-2, I still would have taken more than a couple things away from that I really liked. Like the way that they possessed the ball, the way that they found that when you possess the ball, you can set your team up better to be good against the counterattack. Like they were a good counter pressing team. They were winning the ball. Like for that first half, like you said, the Timbers could not get close to the ball. They couldn't hold on to it. They couldn't press us. We were both good with possession and good being direct. Like it was 1, 2, 3, 4 passes, and then it was in on goal. And it was really smart play. So that's encouraging to me as a team. Like that's recreatable. I want to see that. I want to see that with obviously Olivera Giroud on the field at one point. But I agree with you. There was moments in that game where I was like, oh, we're losing this game because this team just doesn't have what they used to have. Maybe it's the lack of veteran leadership. And even to your point, like when they first went up a man, I thought they played okay. I was like, okay, they're breaking them down pretty good. And then they started to get, and of all people, it was Chanot.
I was about to say
was
the
Chanot stupid stuff. Like, what was he doing? Like that
well,
shot
I think
was dumb.
he really thought he had that goal earlier in the game, and I think he was like, fuck, this is my moment. And Chanot's been great, man. I'm really happy with his distribution. I didn't get to watch the last game, but like watching in this game, I'm very confident in him. I do want to, Adam, thank you so much for the super chat. Not a convincing win, is what Adam says. I agree that's the way we won that game is not recreatable. I think there's something to be said for luck breaking our way finally. Like we have been, I think, a deeply unlucky team. Denny BOUANGA is now second in expected goals over the course of the season, and the finishing wasn't there. He had 2 beautiful goals tonight. One was called off not for any fault of his own. And I think called off rightly. I know some people in the stands might not think so, but when you watch it on the replay, very obviously handball. And it just feels good to see him get a goal from open play in a moment where last year, 9 times out of 10, we would have thought Denny BOUANGA would win that game for us. What do you think about not a convincing win, Vince?
Yeah, I mean, if you have to get the other team a red card and then you score in the 90+2, it's never going to be a convincing win. But I would say the flip side of that is like the Timbers scored goals, and I think the worst part of it wasn't necessarily just the goals. It was the fact that like their heads kind of went down. LAFC really like the momentum swung hard into Portland's favor, and that's not something you like to see. Like they weren't able to kind of wrestle the game back from them at 2-1. But you got to say like both Portland's goals are pretty like they're not
Yeah.
recreatable. Like I'm not going to say they're lucky because Jonathan Rodriguez is a good player. Santi Moreno is a good player. Santi's obviously has a bit of a deflection too, but like those aren't goals that you're going to hope you're going to get, from the top of the box through a lot of traffic all the time. So yeah, I ultimately, I guess I'm saying I agree, but like, let's not like again, LAFC was
We
very
got to
good for
relish in these wins when we have them. We have to enjoy them.
I'm not saying they're going to go on to be like, like for sure. I'm like book this team a place in MLS Cup final, but like I saw a lot of things in that game that I think they can do, but even like ratchet up and do even better. And I think that's better to me than I'm trying to think of like another win where it was just like, yeah, I mean that was a win. Like the Seattle game, the very first game of the season, that was a win, but there was a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and
This
we've
is like a
seen since then
win.
that Seattle kind of sucks. Like we
Yeah,
thought of them as a top tier team, and they clearly are not.
right. And this is a win now where it's like even the 5-0 against Nashville, like they just fell apart. That Nashville, like at a certain point, was like, we're done. Whereas
Yeah.
Portland kept fighting through it. And I just think, yes, not a convincing win, but still, I think you can take a lot more from this game than almost any other win in the season.
I think this Portland team is much better than what the stats are showing. Both times we've played them, they have looked dangerous. They look messy, like they don't seem like they have their shit together, but the talent is clearly there. And
Mhm.
like, I don't know, I would be scared against Portland more so than the way that Nashville has been playing lately, and certainly Seattle. Like, the Galaxy obviously is our biggest win of the season, but we needed that win for different reasons. If we ended that game on a tie, I feel like we would have been in rough shape in this
Yeah.
live stream right now. I think we were all ready to pull the panic alarm. I do want to say you mentioned the deflection on the goal. Larice, I'm a keeper apologist. I am a
Mhm.
goalkeeper. I don't know why I said it with that inflection. I am a goalkeeper. I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah, really spread the word.
Yeah, but uh, especially seeing Maxime play, not a perfect game, but a game in which he had some really tough saves. And Larice also had one tough save in that game. That
Yeah.
deflection was slow enough that I do think Larice could have made a dive for it.
You
And it
think?
seemed like he said to himself, I'm too old to dive for this shit.
Mm,
It was hard to see the contrast. We'll always love Maxime. I will say Larice looked like a player who was worth half the cost of Maxime, which is what we paid for them.
oof, rough. Rough. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you on that. Like, I give the goalkeepers a lot of the benefit of the doubt, especially when it kisses off the post and then like that. Like he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe I could get there. But again, it's look, there's a lot of goalkeepers and there's a lot of goals that happen. And I'm just gonna say this across the board for people, not just in LAFC games. When you see goalkeepers dive, and they're never gonna get there, but they want to make it look cool. Lloris is old enough to know, Travis, I would make it look cool for you, but I don't care. And I
At
think
least
that's what he
shuffle
did.
in that. I know he put his weight on the wrong side of his body, and then the deflection happened. But you can make the ball was moving slow enough that you have to at least acknowledge that it's about to go in the net, right? Like he did the thing that goalies do when they think it's going to go wide, and it was clear to everyone watching that was not close enough to do that. Darren, welcome to the show. You made it. Beautiful global diplomatic kid on. What was the vibe like in the stadium? How you feeling after that much needed win?
Oof, the stadium was feeling good. We pulled it out at the end. There was a lot of good energy at the very end of the match, which was good in the stadium. I'm feeling good. I feel like we're getting a bit of the turning point we've been asking for. Look, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we're technically undefeated in our last 4 matches.
Well, that's scary to say out loud, but yes, I get. Yeah, that's true.
That feels like things are moving in the right direction. It doesn't
It's a
feel
fact.
that way. It
No,
doesn't
it
feel like
doesn't.
that's the team we've been watching. But
And I said this
that's
before you
good
came on,
news.
Darren. We're 3 points out of first place in the West.
I
We're
mean,
not all that far.
we've got work to do, and we're in the middle of doing that work, and I'm okay with where we're at, given that that's the case, right?
Any happy feet or sad feet from our panelists? I want to say a happy foot quickly. Oh no, I've already said one. I don't want to take away the obvious ones. You guys go for it.
Happy foot for me was like a lot of players having a good game all at one time. Like we've seen a lot of games this season where like 2-3 guys were like, yeah, they played pretty good. The rest of the guys, yeah, I could take it or leave it. This game was like, you look across the board. I think even Murillo had a very good game in a lot of moments. Palencia was incredible. Timothy Tillman is again easily the best player on this team. But obviously Bouanga is going to get a lot of the publicity, but Tillman was just incredible. And obviously, other than the touching off his hand, like everything he did on that play, on that goal that was disallowed, was so amazing. Like the way he carved through them, the pass itself was so great. I mean, he was just so much fun to watch. And a lot of people are going to get on me for this, but like Kike Olivera had a good game. Sorry, like he just did. And I know that like because he didn't score one of the chances and it didn't have a ton of numbers, but like he did a lot of things really well.
Really
and some
rough
of the things
own goal for Kike Olivera there, where he clearly would have gotten a goal from open play.
Yeah, some of the things he didn't do well, wasn't his fault. Like that's just the thing. And I know people want him to be like this incredible player, but he's a young player that's still figuring it out. I thought the ability though to cut the ball back and slide it to Timothy Tillman is something
when
we haven't
Bogusz
seen
was
from
begging for the ball too.
Yeah, something we haven't seen from him, and it was really great for him to not see him just try to like stuff a cross in with a guy's legs like right in front of him. So that was smart. I mean, that's the things you want to see. So you got to give him his due when he does stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to. You mentioned him briefly. My big happy foot is Timothy Tillman, like the shining star in the darkness of this season. Consistent every game, really, really strong in a way that like even Ilie and Atuesta have not been in some of these games. Tillman is always there, and like weirdly, our best attacking option this season. Our most consistent one, which I don't think any of us would have predicted. Darren,
I would have. I drafted him as my, I think my first or maybe second pick.
Okay.
Just let me switch out Giroud. Let me switch
to come
out
up a lot on
Giroud.
the podcast.
I'm just saying.
Do you have Bouanga and Tillman?
No one can have Bouanga.
Oh, right. Who's your first pick?
I think Kike Olivera is my first pick.
Yeah, okay. Darren, any happy feet? Sad feet?
Still a lot to go.
I think we saw a little bit more crossing between Bouanga and Olivera today. I feel like we got a tiny bit more each game, and they're starting to find each other a little bit. I saw them talking to each other more. They were mad at each other, but I like that they're mad at each other. Like I need more communication. And then Bouanga decided to use something other than a cannon, and it worked twice. One got called back, but that worked twice.
Yeah.
What do you know if you don't just like launch it every time? Sometimes
I will say he launched it on the winner. He did. That was a BOUANGA blast, an old school BOUANGA blast.
It was like 80%, and it hit the post.
Yeah, we were saying the post is finally kind to him.
Yeah, I think it's because he took a little bit off of it. He's learning finesse.
We have two warring super chats that came in seconds after one another. The first one from Danny Angel saying shirts off, which I think is a 4-goal rule, but it's a super chat, so we have to discuss it. And then LAFC responding, shirts on for God's sake. Also a super chat, canceling each other out. So I'm pretty sure shirts off is 4 goals was established last season because we were scoring so much. It was initially 3 goals, and then it got boosted up to 4 goals. But I think that's right. Am I wrong, Darren?
Yeah, I think it's 4 goals.
It's 4 goals.
Anyone can feel free to leave their shirt on or take their shirt off as they wish, and whatever you need to do.
Joey AF in the comments saying, no, 4 is playoffs. We got to go back. Whoever really wants to figure this out, go back and listen to the tape to decide when
everyone
the shirts
do
come
whatever you want. We have a few more super chats too, I believe.
We already discussed the one above.
I see.
I do think I want to say a happy foot for me is that Maxime played great and we got the win. It felt good to see him play well because he hasn't been good this season.
Fair enough.
And we still got the win. If he beat us when Lloris made that save, or failed to make that save, we all would have been fucking freaking out. It feels good to have the happy side of that. And we're good at home, guys. This is the one consistent positive of this season. We are good at home. We obviously should have won that game more easily than we did, but we are undefeated at home this year. All of our losses have come on the road. Anything else before we start bringing on our callers, one of which might have his shirt off?
Oh God, think of something. Shit. Guys, vamp.
Let's bring him on. Look, it was his brother's thing, but now he also wants to show us his nips. Joey LF, welcome to the show.
I was showering for added time.
We don't need any more details.
All right, fine, fair enough.
Need any more
Fair enough. But I checked
How
in
you
Danny.
doing?
I'm doing okay. I mean, pretty psyched, honestly. I was like, my happy foot was that they waited until I could like finally get to the game to start scoring. I was walking my dog when Portland came back, which was pretty frustrating. Denise scored, and I freaked out my wife pretty bad, and she was like, "Can you warn me next time?" And I was like, "Sorry, BOUANGA BLAST just happened, you know."
That's why
women. Am I right?
She's laughing, but she doesn't know that we ended in sexism. But there you have it.
People want to know is why is Degenerate shirtless at Denny's? What are you doing at Denny's? Denise. Any happy feet or sad feet while we have you and your beautiful body on the pod?
Yeah, I'm not actually going to share my nips, but
that's a good rule. Shirts off after compromise. 3, nips at 4. I feel like that's a fair compromise.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think so.
Now
yeah,
I mean, I just to the little details.
Right. I don't know, Vince, if you saw, but people really want you to clean off your camera. I was
trying.
He was trying. I think it's a scratch, maybe.
Uh-oh.
I wanted to expand though on what you were saying, Travis, that it was amazing to see, Max have a great game and us get past that. Oh no, now I don't remember what I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm just glad we fucking won. It
was a needed one.
Yeah, I had a Vince question though. Obviously I didn't see the entire game, but it did seem to me like the front line isn't doing that whole rotation thing that they used to do where Vela, BOUANGA, and whoever else was in the front line would, one time they're on the left side, one time on the right side. Like, it seems like BOUANGA was consistently on the left side, at least in the first half, and Olivera on the right side. Am I seeing that wrong, or are they getting a little more sort of solidified in that?
No, I think you're seeing it right. I think a lot of it has to do with just like the fact that they just want to play direct now. Like, they just want to play vertical. They want to run at goal. So they're thinking like, why do I need to switch sides? Why you probably saw it though in this game was BOUANGA was like, I have Mascara in my pocket and I'm owning this guy. There's no chance I'm switching sides. Cause that first half, he completely dominated like Mascara, because Mascara wants to attack. Right. And so every time that he was slightly stepping forward, BOUANGA's just running behind him. And that's why you saw Mascara subbed at halftime. But I agree with you. They're not switching as much. And that's like, again, I think it's a direct thing. And it's just the way they kind of play. They're individualists. They don't really want to like link up and create the same way that, some of our past guys would do where they would switch around. But it'll happen. But I agree with you. It's just kind of a thing where they've settled in and they're like, this is it. This is how we play.
Thanks for always calling. And it's always good in these environments too. I associate you naked with positivity, which is good. Great
yeah, and honestly, I thought I was at 1 bar, but here I am with 2.
Yeah, 2 bars work great. Nice to see you.
Strong.
Darren, I want to address some things that were going on in the chat while that was happening. 2 different people said you big time them at the stadium.
Big time, Darren.
First one, let's find it.
I'm ashamed.
Happy foot, we won. Sad foot, Darren big time me and ignored me when he was walking to the stadium in Pepsi Plaza. And then let me scroll up. Jeffrey says, Darren, I saw you walking outside the stadium, but you didn't say hi. You look too important to bother in a good way. Darren,
hold on, but
you
didn't say hi. This person did not say hi. I did not say hi. I wouldn't have known to say hi.
Wait, you don't go
to everyone at
yeah, you don't go.
So why did you say hi to me?
You don't go to the stadium and just start waving like you're on a float? That's what I do. I just figure everyone knows me.
Yeah.
Well, everyone does know you, Vince. They don't know us.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who posts the horny Giroud memes? Yeah. The guy who posts about the tacos at the stadium?
Sure, I think I know that guy. I wouldn't recognize him, though.
One of my favorite things is when people ask me, they're like, "Do you do any of the posting?" I'm like, "What do you think?
Yeah.
Have you listened to the show?"
Jeff
It's
Talk
about
had a funny.
it's about
funny
80-20.
tweet. Yeah, Jeff Talk had a funny tweet this week that was like, sometimes I'm unsure when Travis or Darren are posting, and sometimes I'm very sure when Travis is posting.
Listen, I will address this. I'm thrilled to say hi to anybody who says hi when I'm here. So please come up and say hello. I love meeting people. My face may not suggest it because I space out a lot and I'm exhausted at all times. But apologies to anyone who did try to get my attention.
Hollywood Darren Miller, too good for our listeners. That's what we're taking away from that. I do want to say one other happy foot I wrote down, and it's an intangible, something Vince couldn't understand. But it's that when we are fun, we are really fun. And this is a team that has the capacity to be a very fun team. Vince only sees ones and zeros. He sees numbers moving around. He's never even looking at the ball. He's watching the players around the ball. But when we play fun games, they're really fun to watch. We haven't had very many of them this year. And this, at least for the first half, was very fun. And the second half was a lot more of our.
It was definitely something. You
It was
might
a
know
fun
what
game.
it was. Our next caller might know what the second half was. Should we have him join us?
Yeah, after I insulted Vince, I didn't want him to respond and destroy me. So, LAFC Luke, welcome to the show.
Perfect.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good to see LAFC Luke.
Sitting in the parked car waiting to join you all on the show because I am going to drive home tonight.
Thank you for pulling over our
first.
I actually, this is maybe one of the first times I'm like totally in agreement with Vince. Vince, like, you're calling out Tim Tillman 100%. Kike, I thought, had a really good game. And I totally agree with you on Hugo not going for that shot. Like, he wasn't going to get it. He's like on the right-hand third of the goal. All he'd be doing is, like, you know, doing a little dance to make it look like he cared enough to try, but he was not going to get it. It was, if anything, his momentum was probably sort of either planted or moving a little to his left because of the way the shot was made. And then the deflection just sent it completely the other way.
He was off balance for sure.
Yeah. So I think my athletic foot for the game was all the people just outside the stadium at a techno rave dance party at the Olympic Torch at the Coliseum.
Yeah, what was that?
Darren, you mentioned that. So there was a rave?
mob?
I texted Travis about that. I was like, there's some kind of rave show in front of the Coliseum?
Cascade is playing there right now.
It's not even in the Coliseum? I don't know. It was like a really sad DJ set of some kind. Like, it didn't even sound like people were having fun. It didn't sound fun.
Luke seems like he had fun. Luke
was
just
a
gave you a
blast.
face like you were wrong.
I mean, it was
Were
like
you there?
it was
Were
like
you
the
in
playoff music
attendance?
for us as we left the stadium. It was great.
Oh, I cannot vouch for anything as you left. Maybe I was just seeing like mic checks or something. This was before the match, so maybe they just like got warmed up and got going, and at the end of the match, everything was good.
Luke, any happy feet or sad feet for that match?
Well, I think one of my happy feet was meeting and getting, well, not, I mean, we'd met before, but seeing Scott and Dea, who are regular listeners of this show, who were like, LAFC Luke, and we were chatting. It was a lot of fun. They sit right near y'all in section 129. So that was really cool. But probably on the pitch, I'm going to go with Kike because when he went down in like the 45th plus second minute or whatever that was, and what, like you guys were talking about earlier, like I wanted him to play it in, and then he played it back, and I was like, what the heck? And then Tim was right there and just lasered that into the corner, and I was like, that was a smart play. And obviously it paid off, but like that dude was all over the field. I mean, there were a few moments I was like, oh, come on now. But overall, like he was looking solid. So he's definitely my happy foot.
I think both him and BOUANGA have found ways to look outside of themselves a little bit the last few games. Like they're not just trying to force it as much. I do think Olivera, he just has to finish a few times and it'll feel a little bit better. But Vince is right; he's young. I've turned too sour on these people. Luke, thanks so much. Yeah.
Hey, look, I got a sad foot. My sad foot is being up a player and not scoring goal against Portland. I was like, come on now. We did this for 40 minutes the last time we played them. But hey, I'll take it. We get the win at the end and move on.
All of us had PTSD for the beginning of the season at the game. I think the last 20 minutes were PTSD. Thanks for calling, Luke. We always love you.
Thanks, guys.
There was a good chunk toward the end there where I was like, this is exactly the same match as 2 weeks ago. I hope this doesn't happen the same way.
Yeah. What a
well,
start.
There are like
a weird version of it though, because the match in Portland, Portland was the team that looked kind of more fun and sexy and playing offensive football. Yeah. And then this one, we come out flying. It was weird because I didn't think there was a lot of chances where they should have put the game away because they were playing so well, but also they didn't seem to miss a lot of glaring chances. So it was just we had control of the game. We just never I think they said on the broadcast, if it gets 3-0, and this happens a lot in this league, especially for teams. I mean, especially with the travel, when you imagine if you get 3-0 up on a team at home, they're going to usually pack it in. But at 2, every team feels like they have a little bit of a chance. That's not a great thing for LAFC. That's something that they're going to have to. That's where they're really going to have to look inward and be how do we figure out how to really, if we're playing our best and we still have to scrape by to get a 3-2 win, that's not ideal for the rest of the season.
We also have another regular calling in. Our good friend LAX Andy's here. LAX Andy, how's the airport today?
It's pretty empty today, actually.
Well, that's good. You'll get on your flight, no problem. Were you at the match?
I was. I saw other Travis there. Sorry, Darren. I accidentally called Darren Travis. It was embarrassing. But
it was fine. I took it as a compliment.
I take it as an insult.
Who's more insulted by it?
I was telling you guys,
and Travis insulted it. It works out perfectly.
You guys really blew up that birria spot in a good way. There's just a real crazy line before every match.
Yeah, you said this. Is that really how the timing worked out? I find it hard to believe that we had a hand in that, but maybe. I mean, I'm sure. Look, they're good. Did blow up.
I'm sure it would have blown up regardless, but you could take some of the responsibility for it. You can claim some of it.
If it's us, then I'll give all credit to Adam Conover, who came in hot as a guest on the show.
He ruins our ability to get those tacos quickly. Am I right?
Exactly.
LAX Andy, any happy feet or sad feet from the match?
Yeah, I was thinking about, there was a viral tweet. I don't know how viral it was a couple of years ago. That was the Seahawks have never played a normal game. And that's how I feel about this season. I alluded to it last week where it reminded me of the Diomande days where it's every game was fucking insane. And as, that might not necessarily be a good thing, but, in the 87th, 88th minute, a lot of folks were leaving. And I'm like, guys, we're like the Marvel movies of, we're like the MCU of MLS. We're going to do some crazy shit in the 95th minute. So yeah, everything about this team is weird. My buddy was asking me about Lloris, what's the deal? It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know how to pinpoint it.
It's a team that isn't complete. It just feels like the puzzle pieces don't. You can tell what the picture of the puzzle is, but the pieces are slightly ajar. You know what I mean? We taped it together to make it seem like we know what I'm working with a metaphor here. Just walk.
It makes complete sense.
We said it at the beginning of the season. When you lose that much institutional knowledge, guys like Kellen Acosta, veteran presence, Giorgio Chiellini, you're never going to be as good, right? You're always going to be a little bit worse. But LAFC did add a lot of exciting talent, so that's why we said the ceiling could be higher at times, but the floor is definitely going to be lower. And that, I think we're just going to see roller coasters in a lot of these games until maybe they put the pieces together. And again, someone like Giroud shows up and maybe one more piece in the summer to really kind of give some veteran leadership. Because right now we're seeing a team that's they're really figuring it out on the fly. And that's not necessarily always a great thing for teams.
I feel like there's a veteran who also has a lot of institutional knowledge that we haven't mentioned.
Was he at Coachella?
BOUANGA?
Probably.
You remember BOUANGA?
It's not BOUANGA.
Oh,
Who am
I
I
think he's
thinking
gonna the
of?
guy. He might play for Monterrey. Is that right? That guy?
Oh, and then San Diego, right?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
San Diego. A
Oh
year,
my
That-
a
God.
half year in Monterrey, then San Diego. Everyone knows
those
his life plan.
Yeah, those rumors are bananas because if you know anything about Carlos Vela, the last thing he wants is like, okay, I'm going to play on this team and then I'm going to go to this. Like, how many times am I moving? He's like, honestly, I bet you if someone told that to him, he'd go, I'll just retire because there's no chance he's doing that.
Before we let you go, anything else you want to add, Alex, Andy?
Real quick, my happy foot was gonna be that Bouanga is actually a hat trick away from the Golden Boot lead, but then the defending runner-up in the MLS Newcomer of the Year award actually scored 2 goals tonight. So Bouanga's still 5
Whoa.
back.
Never
Oof.
heard of him.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you talk about the runner-up to the Newcomer of the Year? So
Yeah.
It's such a funny way to talk about Messi is the runner-up to newcomer of the year.
Knowing MLS, they still sent them some kind of trophy that said like, you were the
Yeah.
runner-up.
It's bigger than the newcomer of the year one. Thanks so much for calling in, Alex, Andy.
Thank
We
you,
always
guys.
love you. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I mean, Log says that was a simile. Look, it's been a
Whoa.
while since I was in English class.
Whoa.
I have a master's in writing, so eat my asshole.
I was gonna say, don't you write for a living?
But like, you don't need grammar when you're writing scripts. I never had
That's
to
true.
learn like the rules of writing.
Yeah, the first thing you learn when you get paid to actually write is you can break any rules you want because you're getting paid to write. Well, all those suckers that learn grammar, they don't have a job.
Yeah,
Suckers.
those are the ones who
They're all
become
writing-
critics.
They're all writing technical documents.
Good time to plug Hacks on Max. May 2nd comes out, 3rd season. Rave reviews coming in.
It's got to be
Hacks on
hacked
Max.
on that.
If you love LAFC, then you gotta watch Hacks on Max, a show about 2 women in the comedy space, a thing that really relates to LAFC. If you
Listen,
like,
they're doing it in Vegas. We got a game coming up in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
There's some kind of connection point there.
Oh
Is there
yeah,
a next game? I don't know.
Is there, Travis? Is there some kind of way Hacks can pay us to do a promo if we go out in Vegas and just
Yeah.
promote the
Branded
show and put it all
content.
together?
if I know anything about the entertainment industry right now, it's they're throwing away money to podcasts that get, a decent number of listeners in a very niche space that has nothing to do with what their show is about. But yes, maybe, honestly,
Sounds like
we
you
can
know
ask.
a lot about entertainment.
Look, I had something I wanted to ask Vince before let me go back through the comments.
I start a few.
Oh,
There
gee.
is a question for Vince in the comments. How does Vince feel about 2-0 being the most dangerous lead in sports, which is a thing that gets thrown around a lot. I think it's pretty controversial.
I
What do you
mean,
think?
I would say it's it's just one of those things that's said so much that like how can you even fight against it? It's inevitable. Just it is what it is. I
As
mean,
a
we've
player,
learned
I
that
bet
today.
you think about it.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I guarantee you they immediately came out and Ilya got them all in a circle and he was like, guys, I have one thing to say to you. 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in sports. And I
And then
guarantee when they
some
got
people were like, I don't know, I disagree. I don't really feel that way.
and I guarantee he was the last person to walk in that locker room after the win, and everyone was kind of excited. He was like, "Everyone, just quiet down real quick," and just said, "What'd I tell you?" And just
I make the smart choice.
Yeah.
I do think it speaks to human nature that it would be a really dangerous lead, right? Like you feel comfortable, the other team still feels like they're in it, right? So it's a battle
Yeah.
of the psyches. And then the minute they score the other goal, you're deflated and they're it makes sense that that's an anecdote that people use.
yeah, because if you lose 2-0 or 3-0, what do you care? So at 2-0, you go all out, like you said, but then you get one, you go, ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it just it's on both sides where it works on your psyche.
I want to say thank you to the super chat logs, biggest super chat of all time.
Whoa.
So thank you for that. Yeah,
Wow,
this
wow.
shit is hella niche. Good luck though, fellas.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
That just
Thank
paid
you.
for
This
Darren's
is-
tacos.
We'll need
Yeah.
this.
Just want to say thank you for paying for Darren's tacos and for giving us money for saying you didn't understand what we were talking about. Thank you to Logs.
Logs
there
is a great name.
and
That is a great name.
his avatar is the Pokemon. It's the psychic Pokemon. What is this called? Hypno, right? He holds the little yo-yo.
Travis, tell us about the
You're-
Pokemon. I want to go on. I want to go on this tangent. Let's do this.
I like that you're
believe he
figuring it
doesn't-
out while trying to ask us as if we're going to give you any help.
He doesn't have
You're
an
the one who knows
evolution.
about Pokemon.
He's like
Okay.
a little fat guy. He's yellow. He's got like kind of an aardvark snout, and he has like one of those like yo-yo things that hypnotizes people. I believe he's called Hypno. He's from the first generation. I can only
Wow.
really tell you much about the first generation. I've played the other games, but I don't know them as Drowsy. Everyone's pointing out it's Drowsy. Is Hypno
Oh my god!
his evolution?
Wow. Travis,
Drowsy
I'm
is
so
the
disappointed
name.
in you.
Yeah, it is what it is. Look,
You fucking blew it, dude.
There goes all of our Pokemon cred.
Damn, and I thought we had so much. Honestly,
Oh,
Travis,
we
I really
We
thought
did
you
a
had
whole
it.
game.
I do think of the MLS podcast, we had the most Pokemon credit, and I threw it out
You
in
threw it
one
out the
fucking
window,
moment. But it
dude.
is the
You
same
blew
guy,
it.
right? I know who I'm. Fuck you. I'm bad
Hypno
with
is his
human names.
brother.
Too.
Hypno is his brother.
So he does have an evolution. I was wrong, but yeah, okay. His brother.
Travis, I mean this as nicely as I possibly can, as respectfully as I possibly can. No one, no, I don't know what an evolution is. What is it? What are you talking about?
Look,
I wanted to say no one knows what an evolution is, but clearly like 10 people in the chat.
Did you
do.
never play Pokemon? It's like we're the exact age where it was like our niche childhood game.
No.
What?
Sorry.
What were you? Did you have kids then? What was
Actually,
your?
I've always had 3 kids. I did have friends who played in. There was a weird thing where there was the science teacher in 8th grade. She used to have an after school thing where she would host Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, and she had what was a notoriously like amazing collection of cards that everyone used to say. And then our year, her cards got stolen. And there was a big police investigation, and then everything kind of fizzled out, and no one played anymore.
So you've had to kind of keep a low profile since then because
Yeah,
I can't mention Pokemon.
I have to just completely pretend like I have no idea what I'm talking about for both Magic and Pokemon, so that I can continue to sell these cards on the down low.
We really buried the lead. Why did we save that whole story for now? Like that should have been how we started the show.
Listen, Miss Allen was a great science teacher.
Can we get her on the pod? I think we could get her for the San Jose Vegas super episode. Joey AF, I'll log out. If you friended me, I am actively still playing Pokemon Go as a 36-year-old. I'll friend you. Look, we have 2 games coming up next week. It's a real 2023. Maybe that'll help us turn it around. We're playing San Jose on the weekend away. I believe there'll probably be a pretty big traveling contingent of fans. If you're going, have fun.
At Levi's.
At Levi Stadium, I believe. Yeah.
The big stadium.
I believe that's a country. I believe.
I believe that we will.
I believe.
Vince does not want to be here. He's like, why? I'm a professional.
I believe.
Okay, and then after that we have Vegas. I'm going to be in Vegas for the weekend, the San Jose game. I think I'm not going to stick around. I can't do 5 days in Vegas. That's too long. I will die.
I feel like Travis is the person I know who I feel like has perfected 3 days in Vegas,
which we'll talk about a lot next episode. In the second segment of the show, we'll let's not give away too much, but we have a good segment coming up.
Thank you to everyone for your patience. I was going to say thank you to everyone for your patience of us not having a preview episode coming up, but we have I think 4 matches in 12 days, and so we are using the time to plan.
Also, thank you for your patience. Multiple people said rude things to me about it, so thank you for your patience.
People did not like it.
Last time I did a podcast when I had a cold, everyone fucking complained about how I sounded. Oh, we have one last caller who's joining us. Our good friend Carlos from Global Diplomatic. Carlos, welcome to the show, Carlos.
What's up, guys? Finally, a pleasure to be on. Hey, Vincey. Been a while.
Where's my jersey?
Huh?
Where's my jersey? Everyone else has one.
Oh my God! He just got on the show. You're just complaining immediately.
Love at the pickups, but sadly, we haven't been able to put them together lately. But I got it. Don't worry. It might have some cobwebs, but it's there for you.
I believe
Vince coming in hot for a person calling into our show. Carlos, how you doing? How was that game? Any happy feet or sad feet?
Well, happy feet was obviously meeting up Darren today at the Beer Tacos. I was telling him how I always thought you guys were overhyping it, but I can't lie, it was good. It was good. So
Good.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't Hollywood you.
You didn't Hollywood me, no.
See,
I can vouch.
when you have a custom jersey for me, I won't Hollywood you.
Yeah, all you have to do is have a gift.
Good to know.
Present him with a gift, and he'll be nice to you.
Right.
Any sad feet from the match?
That feat was, I thought we were about to get another tie. I was like, damn, back-to-back 2-2 draws with Portland. But, hey, they got the win at the end. So, like you guys say, a BOUANGA blast to get the win.
Love,
but right?
yeah. I mean,
sell them T-shirts.
We have them in women's sizes now, everyone.
All right.
And if you haven't ever donated to Carlos and Global Diplomatic, you should. They do incredible work. Give us a little bit of an insight into the type of work you guys do.
Well, one of the things we like to do is whenever LAFC goes to, let's say, especially internationally, we try to reach out to a local orphanage and help out. Try to give them the LA black and gold love that we all know we're known for. So when we went to Leon, Costa Rica, we went to an orphanage, brought gifts to the children, took them like a clown, gave them food, piñatas, and then showed them a little bit of the beautiful game. And we try to do that every year at least once. This year we're planning to go to TJ since we're gonna play Cholos for the what's it called, the Leagues Cup. So in honor of that, we're planning to go to TJ. So try to keep that tradition alive, and like always, we like to just show that black and gold love.
And if people want to find you or help out, how can they do that?
You can find us on IG on Global Diplomatic. For that, I guess reach out to me.
Yeah, and we tagged you and Global Diplomatic in the post we just made today. So if anyone's interested in helping out when they go down to TJ, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Carlos, thanks for doing so much for the community. You really rule, and thanks for letting us be a shirt sponsor. We're very happy to be there.
Well, thank you guys. Very honored, and it's a pleasure to finally be on the live stream. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Please call back. We love you.
Love you
Great
guys.
to talk to you. Vince, we've been very mean to you all episode. I feel like it's only we should leave you with the final word for tonight.
I want Vince to have a Jerry Springer style final thoughts.
I know. I wish you would have told me so I could really. I'll just say this: I'm happy that you guys are mean to me in these type of episodes, because again, if they would have lost or drawn 2-2, the amount of like juggling and explaining I would have had to do, and just the amount of shit that I would have taken from people, I'll gladly have you guys like get at me on this one, because if I would have been ducking all the comments plus you guys, I probably would have just quit.
It is like when the team does badly, it is Vince's fault.
It really is somehow. It's crazy.
People are more mad at you than Steve Cherundolo.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is like I really am just trying to give you some things to like hold on to like give you some sanity, but people are like, no, Vince, let us want to murder every single player that stepped on the field that day, including the coaching staff. And I'm like, but maybe let them live and play another game because they'll be
You're
okay.
too well adjusted is the problem. We want to feel the anger. We like anger feels good, you know?
I know.
This is a safe space for unhinged energy.
I've just seen too much. I know too much. It's too hard for me. Like you said, I think you were right you were on something, Travis, with like the Matrix talk. Like I see things just like a little bit differently. Not that it's better, but it's just like I can't ride the roller coaster, because if I did, I feel like I would be much scarier of a person to be around.
I'll also say you have over time been proven right consistently. And we are people screaming after every minute that like something is wrong is happening. And you're looking at it from the total view. I think who's
going to live longer? Think about
it. We've both been pretty bad to our bodies in our lives, Vince. Thank you everyone for hanging out tonight and for the super chats. They really mean a lot. We'll be back with a double episode this week about San Jose and Vegas. This was a really fun live stream, a much needed win. Darren, anything you want to leave the people out on as we say, I love you, goodbye?
No. It was
I
great
love
meeting
you.
everybody that I did
Bye.
meet.
All right, bye.
I love you. Bye. Vince, do you love everyone?
Darren's cool.
Fuck.